All right, let's just jump right into it. We're going to tackle one of the most personal and, let's be honest, one of the most debated questions in modern Muslim life. The whole deal with music. Is it halal? Is it haram?
This is the question, right? And hey, if you've ever found yourself typing this exact phrase into a search bar late at night, you are definitely not alone. I mean, that just goes to show you this isn't some obscure, dusty theological debate. This is a real, everyday question for millions of us. And what makes it so tough is that both sides, they have their evidence. They cite the Quran, the sayings of the Prophet, and centuries of scholarship. So what are they actually saying?
Okay, let's start by looking at the case for prohibition, the argument that music is, in fact, haram. This view is built on some really specific and pretty powerful pieces of evidence.
So, this right here is the cornerstone of the argument. It's a hadith from Sahih Bukhari. And for the scholars who hold this view, the key thing isn't just that musical instruments are mentioned, it's what they're mentioned with. They are literally listed right alongside things like adultery and drinking alcohol, unambiguously huge sins. The logic is, that's not an accident. They're in that list for a reason.
And it doesn't stop there. Scholars also point to a verse in the Quran, in Surah Luqman, that talks about idle speech, which some of the Prophet's own companions said was referring to music. Then you have brilliant minds like Ibn Taymiyyah, who made this powerful analogy. He said music intoxicates the soul in the same way wine intoxicates the body. So you see, the core idea here isn't just that a song has bad lyrics, it's deeper. The argument is that the instruments themselves are the problem, that they can literally pull your heart away from remembering God.
All right, so that's one side of the coin. But now, let's flip it over and look at a completely different way of seeing things, held by other equally respected scholars throughout our history.
And this is the analogy from the great Imam al-Ghazali that just cuts right to the heart of this perspective. He basically said, look, music itself isn't good or bad. It's a tool. It's like a knife. A knife in the hands of a surgeon saves a life. In the hands of a killer, it takes one. The knife itself isn't evil, right? It's all about the intention and the action. And for al-Ghazali, music is the exact same. Scholars on this side, like the famous Ibn Hazm, they went back and looked at all the evidence and said, hold on a minute. Where is the one, single, super clear, undisputedly authentic hadith that says all musical instruments are forbidden? And they argue it just isn't there. Plus, they point to the fact that the Prophet himself, peace be upon him, allowed the duff, a hand drum, at weddings. And they ask, doesn't that set a precedent? So for them, it all boils down to this. The instrument isn't the issue. The message, the content, and your intention, that's what matters. So if we just kind of zoom out for a second, this one table pretty much sums up the entire 1400-year debate. It all comes down to one fundamental disagreement. Is the problem the instrument itself? Or is the problem the message and your intent? Is it a distraction by its very nature? Or is it a tool that you can use for good or for bad? That's it. That's the whole ball game. Now, when you have some of the greatest minds in our history disagreeing on something for this long, you gotta stop and wonder, maybe we're getting stuck on the wrong question. What if, instead of just asking, is this allowed, we started asking, what is this doing to my soul? See how that just shifts the whole focus? It moves from a question of religious law to one of personal, spiritual health. And here's what's so fascinating. There's one concept, one word, that actually unites both sides of this entire debate. Ghafla, spiritual heedlessness, a state of forgetting God. Think about it. Whether a scholar says music is forbidden or permissible, their ultimate goal is the exact same thing, to protect you from ghafla. They're both just trying to keep your heart connected. And man, this is where it gets really real for us today. I mean, look at the world we live in. Even if you land on the side that says the instrument, the container, is okay, we have a massive crisis with the content being poured into it. Mainstream music is, by and large, not exactly promoting God consciousness. Maybe we're so busy arguing about the bottle that we're not noticing what's actually inside it. So, where does all this leave you? How are you supposed to navigate all this? Well, the goal isn't to just go opinion shopping to find a scholar who tells you what you want to hear. The real goal is to build your own God consciousness, your own taqwa. So here's a practical framework you can use. Okay, 4 simple steps. 1. Educate yourself. Actually understand the arguments for both sides. Don't just follow blindly. 2. Be brutally honest about the content you listen to. What are the lyrics saying? What values are being pushed? 3, and this is the most important one, examine your own heart. After you listen, how do you feel? Do you feel inspired to pray, or do you feel like wasting time? Just do a gut check. And finally, number 4, don't become the fiqh police.
This is an area of legitimate scholarly disagreement. The conclusion you come to is for you, so let others walk their own path.
So in the end, we're not going to leave you with a simple yes or no answer. We're going to leave you with the only question that truly matters. Because after all the scholarly debates are over, after all the opinions have been weighed, this is the one you have to answer for yourself. Is this thing in my life bringing me closer to God, or is it pushing me further away? And that answer, well, that's between you and Him.